I mean, just please don't ask for that right now. Just focus on these seniors, focus on the season, focus on this game. We'll see what happens.
This was E.J. Warner on Friday when asked if he was leaving Temple. No answer then, but on Tuesday he made it official. He's played his last game in cherry and white.
I'm Taimar Stubbs. Later in the show, I'll be discussing Temple men's basketball, newest freshman recruit, Zion Stanford, and his contributions to his season so far.
And I'm Jackson Batchelor reporting from Pearson and McGonigal Hall. The women's gymnastics team has an old coach in a new position. We'll take a look.
We also have a midweek marathon in the Big Five. LaSalle and Temple used 3 overtimes before the final whistle.
OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to OwlSports Update. He's Paddy Heckard, I'm Natalie Koranda, and this is this crew's last show of the semester.
We have a packed show today, starting with big news from football. There's a help wanted sign at Edberg Olson. Division quarterback wanted, prior experience necessary. Must be ready to work nights and weekends. That's because on Tuesday, quarterback E.J. Warner officially announced via Twitter that he is leaving the nest.
Warner said that this is both a tough day and an exciting one, as I've decided to enter my name in the transfer portal and explore the possibilities for my football future. He then went on to say, I have loved my time at Temple, my teammates, the support staff, and our fans. They will be missed and will always be a special part of my journey. He finished by making his move clear. I am entering the portal with 2 years of eligibility remaining and look forward to where this incredible journey takes me.
Warner will now have the opportunity to speak with other Division I schools to organize a transfer during this offseason. After back-to-back 3-9 seasons, EJ is looking for a new challenge and a step up in competition at his new school. EJ has put together quite the impressive stat sheet while here at Temple. His 23 passing touchdowns are the most by a Temple QB since PJ Walker. He holds the 1 and 2 spots for most completions by a Temple QB in a season and has the record for most passing attempts in a season with 445.
The move into the portal isn't a huge surprise. On Tuesday, national radio host on CBS Sports Zach Gelb joined our Inside the Nest crew to give his opinion on Warner. Gelb says Warner will be in demand on the open market.
How concerned do you think Temple should be right now about that?
EJ's a rock star. He sees the field so well. Another program should come calling, and they should try to get him. Multiple programs, especially in this era of name, image, and likeness. But with all that being said...
So we didn't know it at the time, but on Friday, Warner played his final game with the Owls. Memphis came to town at 8-3. For Temple, the Owls entered the last week of the season, needing a win to beat last year's win total of 3. Now let's get to the action that we saw on Friday at Lincoln Financial Field. Starting off with the first play of the game, Seth Hennigan drops back and finds Joseph Skates open deep for the first score of the game, 7-0 Memphis. Next drive, Temple is quick to respond. Darvon Hubbard breaks through the line and runs it for 49 yards for the touchdown. The Owls were unable to get the extra point. The score, 7-6. The first 3 drives of the game all end in touchdowns, including this one. Sutton Smith finds the corner of the end zone to make it 14-6 Memphis. Now fast forward to the fourth quarter, it's 45-14 Memphis. Warner throws it deep to Ahmad Anderson Jr. for the last score of the game and likely EJ's last touchdown here at Temple. The Owls end their season with a loss. Final score, 45-21.
Game, offensively we put up a lot of yards. Just a lot of non-productive drives, just getting the ball in the end zone. Not as much as we needed to. Obviously, there were some self-inflicted things there offensively. I'm very appreciative of the young men that I have the privilege to coach every single day. I really do like the direction that we are are headed in that respect with the mindset of the guys who are leaving, the guys that are returning, this coaching staff who stays in the fight with these individuals through their tough times. And,
So another 3-9 season. Let's take a look at the season as a whole. Inside the Nest beat reporter Sam Cavone is here with us at the studio set. Sam, first off, Let's Go Cup is half full. Shine your spotlight on the players who shined the most this season.
Thanks, guys. My first spotlight goes to safety Taiwan Francis. Although he was new to the team this year, coming in from Colorado State, Francis made his mark. He had 2 of the 3 interceptions this season, was one of the leaders in tackles with 78, and held an honorary single digit for 4 straight weeks. The only person on the team to hold onto it for that long. Next, I'm shining my light on wide receiver Ahmad Anderson Jr. Despite just getting into the end zone 3 times this season, Anderson Jr. led the team in receiving yards with 647 on the season. He is also one of 8 receivers in Temple program history with 5 100-plus yard games in a season. The last spotlight goes to none other than quarterback E.J. Warner. You guys basically summed it up. Warner had a history-making, record-breaking, and career-high season. He was able to put up 23 touchdowns and almost 3,100 passing yards. And he did all of this while missing 2 games this season. Overall, Warner just blew away most of his stats from last year. Now, speaking of EJ, as you guys mentioned, he's made a ton of headlines in the past 42 hours after announcing his entry into the transfer portal Tuesday night.
Sam, thanks for joining us up here on the desk. Our first question for you is, following EJ Warner's big yet predictable announcement, what do you think Warner is looking for at these other schools that might be a possibility for him to go to that he just is not getting at Temple?
Yeah, so he definitely wants to be the starting quarterback, and he has that here, but Temple is now on their 3rd year of rebuilding. He has been there, he's done that. He doesn't want to be on a team that's rebuilding. He wants to be on a team that gets national attention. And he didn't get a lot of offers out of high school, so Temple was kind of that golden ticket for him where he could run up the stats, he could get a lot of attention, and he could get people to see how good he is. So I do believe that he will be in high demand for schools that need a starting quarterback. So overall, I just think he's looking for a more established program that does have a better record.
Will Temple look outside the nest for their next quarterback, or will we see a familiar face starting in that spot next season?
So right now, Temple has 2 freshman quarterbacks in Tyler Douglas and Patrick Keller, but they will be sophomores next year. So I really don't know. We don't know a lot about their high school stats. Now they also have Quincy Patterson, who is graduating but has 1 more year of eligibility. They have Forrest Brock. I don't think they'll go with them either due to their performances in those games where EJ was out. The portal also hasn't opened, so we have no idea who is available yet, who Temple could have their eye on. But overall, there's always the chance that EJ could take his name out of the portal and stay here at Temple.
Well, Sam, thanks for the knowledge. We always appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. It was great to see you guys.
We are coming up against our first break of the show, but stay in your seats. When we come back, it's all things Temple basketball, men and women.
Plus, OwlSports Update's Taimar Stubbs will join us at the studio set to talk about a new freshman recruit for Coach Fisher. Stay tuned. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. After a heartbreaking 1-point loss to an undefeated team in the SEC over Thanksgiving break, the Owls were clawing to get back in the win column. A lot was on the line for the matchup against LaSalle, including a spot in the first ever Big 5 Classic Championship. Our old friend is back. Fran Durfee leading LaSalle in the 2nd year as head coach after 13 seasons at Temple. Straight to the end of the second, Temple led most of the game. Matteo Piccarelli right here for 3. Down the court, LaSalle down by 3. Jameer Brickus, who played 53 minutes and scored 41, sends this game into overtime. With 45 left in the first overtime, Khalil Brantley puts up 3 more of his 29. 6 left to score 85-82 LaSalle. Steve Settle played 50 minutes and scored 19, and this bucket was the biggest. LaSalle does throw up a desperation ball, but we are off to overtime number 2. In the second overtime, now tied at 91, Temple had a chance to win it. Shane Dizzoni makes an attempt, misses. Grabs his rebound, misses. The ball bounces around into Piccarelli's hand, misses. This thriller will now go over into its third overtime. Taj Waleed, who didn't get into the game until the second, makes an early impact. Number 10 scored 4 points, all in the third overtime. And Temple finally pulls away. It was just the 5th triple overtime game in Big 5 history. And this one goes to Temple, sending the Owls to the Big 5 Classic title game. The final score 106-99.
This was about as crazy as it gets. 205 combined points tells just part of the story. The last time Temple played 3 overtimes came back in 1990 when John Chaney's Owls beat UMass in an A-10 game. 8 players logged more than 40 minutes on Wednesday, including 3 players who actually played more than 50. 10 players fouled out, with 5 on each team, and 8 players finished in double figures, 6 of those 8 for Temple. But it was worth the ride for the Owls, who are now 4-2 on the year.
I thought we did a nice job of handling the ball up top. We had some good cutting and wanted to go to the glass. You know, at halftime, I was upset with our rebounding. So we said at halftime, there's 2 things that are going to win this game: free throws and rebounding. And I think we finished +6 and then +11 free throws total. We missed a lot more than we normally do. But those were 2 huge categories tonight in our game. This is a great event. The city of Philadelphia is so special and unique, right? Like, what other place does this where you're going to have these 6 teams all come together? We know it's going to be a great test.
And now the reward is a shot at the first ever Big 5 Classic title. The Owls take on St. Joe's at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday as part of a triple header that starts at 2. Temple beat Drexel and LaSalle to get there. The Hawks beat UPenn and Villanova to punch their ticket. Tip-off in the title game starts at 7:30.
When we were on break, the team played Ole Miss in a non-conference matchup.
Ole Miss entered the game at 4-0 and looking to keep its undefeated streak going. Now let's get to the action. Starting off in the second half, Quante Berry gets the steal and finishes with a dunk on the other end. Berry scores 6. Now 3 minutes left in the half. Zion Stanford gets the ball to Shane Hoffman, who nails the 3 to put Temple within 1. Ole Miss with the ball. Alan Flanagan drives to the basket and gets fouled for 2 by Zion Stanford. Flanagan makes both free throws, putting Ole Miss ahead by 1. Last chance for Temple. Quante Berry puts up a shot, but it's no good. Ole Miss just hang on, 77-76.
Freshman recruit Zion Stanford is one of many new players under new head coach Adam Fisher. OwlSports Updates' Taimar Stubbs is here at the studio set to talk more about his start in the nest. Hey, Taimar.
Natalie, the men's team is looking to have a bounce-back season at Adam Fisher's first year, but it's a rebuilding process with some transfers and one local freshman recruit named Zion Stanford. Stanford is the only true freshman on the roster this season, and the first freshman to play in the game since the 2021-22 season. Stanford is also only one of the 5 players on the roster to play in each of the first 5 games through Thanksgiving, and in this span, he has averaged about 9 points and 3.5 rebounds, along with 22 minutes per game.
I just want to play hard, win a lot of games for Temple and Philadelphia.
Despite these promising numbers, Stanford is just starting his journey as he jumps from Philadelphia's Catholic League to D1 basketball.
It's definitely different coming from high school. Like, you basically being the man. Every play you basically go to you. So you gotta learn how to adjust and play with other players that was the man in high school too. So it's basically like more team being able to play more team ball and like being able to play your role more.
Stanford was born and raised in Philly, so the opportunity to play for the Owls is not taken for granted.
It means a lot having friends and family get to watch you play. They get to mentor you. It's not too far from home. Like, whenever I'm like in trouble or I'm feeling some type of way, I can always go to my parents or people I look up to. They give me some advice, so it's definitely easier.
There are 26 games to go this season. This gives Stanford some time to develop his game with an eye on Temple's future. On Wednesday against LaSalle, Stanford had a very nice game. 15 points in 22 minutes of play. He actually led the Owls in plus-minus with a plus 15. Reporting from the studio set, I'm Taimar Stubbs.
Women's basketball took on St. Joe's in a Big Five matchup. The Hawks dominated the Owls for most of the game, but the excitement didn't start until the very end. Going straight to the end of the fourth, the score 59-58. St. Joe's guard Chloe Welch felt the pressure with only 2 seconds left in the game. She sinks her shot, which ties the score, but doesn't make it to the second to secure a win. With only 1.9 seconds left, Aaliyah Nelson quickly tosses one up, but fails to get it in, leaving us in overtime. In overtime, St. Joe's forward Laura Ziegler sinks in a free throw to bring that score to 67-62. In the last 2 seconds of overtime, Nelson tries for one more and makes it, but the Hawks hold on. They are perfect on the year with the 67-65 win.
The Owls will look to heat up and end their cold streak with 2 games at the Bryan January Classic in Arizona. Xavier is currently 0-6 on the year and will face Temple on Friday at 6. Pacific will close out the Arizona road trip for Temple. The Tigers are 4-2 on the year and face the Owls on Saturday at 3 p.m.
It's time for our second break of the show. On the other side, we have one last segment of teamwork featuring women's hoops.
Plus, a familiar face joins the gymnastics coaching staff.
Welcome back. I'm Jackson Batchelor at McGonigal Hall. In her first year at Temple as the lead assistant, Hillary Steele was very successful in her role. Now, in her second season on North Broad, Steele is taking over as the head coach. There are big shoes to fill, but Steele feels as if she's ready to embrace the new role and job and responsibilities. The women's gymnastics team is entering a new season with some familiar faces in unfamiliar roles. Former lead assistant Hillary Steele is the team's newest coach after Josh Nelson left for Illinois.
Temple was a great opportunity for growth in my career, but growth in the program, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I think that's one of the main reasons I came.
Nelson took over the Owls in 2018 and helped the team to 3 different conference championships over 4 years. And now it's Steele's turn to pick up where Nelson left off.
Pretty smooth transition, she's doing her best to not change too much and keep up the culture of the team and everything.
During Steele's time in the previous season, not only did she help 7 of her student athletes match or set career highs on beam, but also led 2 Owls to earn all-conference honors last spring.
I think as far as expectations is raising the bar for themselves and the standards for themselves and really expecting greatness and realizing that they have the potential to be there.
As an assistant coach in her first season in Philly, Coach Steele helped lead the Owls to 6 of their top 20 scores in program history. After being named head coach in just her second season, the future is looking bright for Steele and the young Owls team.
Yeah, I think just continuing to build those relationships with the girls and being a confident head coach, and we definitely hope to win regular season and qualify to regionals.
With the season beginning in less than 2 months, Steele has time to continue to get closer with her players. The loss of Coach Nilsson was tough, but considering what Steele was able to accomplish last season as a lead assistant, she should be prepared for her elevated role. Reporting from McGonigal Hall, I'm Jackson Batchelor. Guys, back to you on desk.
Thanks, Jackson. It's now time for this duo's last segment of teamwork.
We have decided to finish off this semester by focusing on how the women's basketball team works in just a few weeks after the start of its season. The first point we're going to highlight is Richardson's saying that she has a deep roster. She says that these new players who have different strengths will benefit the team in more ways than ever before. She said that they have filled the holes of their post players and have plenty of impact players coming in as well. So we are seeing a different team this year than the one that finished 11-18 last year.
For my point, I'm going to be talking about being strong and precise. Coach Richardson talked about elevating the pressure that they apply on defense, but also emphasizing the importance of being accurate in their execution. Coach wants the team to play with pace, but with precision. That's a difficult combination. Now, on defense, look at how Temple keeps Bucknell towards the three-point line. The Bison only finished 3 of 15 from 3, so this type of play proved effective. And even when Bucknell makes the effort to try and get that ball down low, Temple anticipates it and gets there for the steal.
And now moving right down the court onto offense. This happens quick, but Aaliyah Nelson attempts right down there, misses. But Demi Washington is there to grab that rebound and sends it right back up and into the net. We know Aaliyah will score, but Temple's inside game will be something to keep an eye out for this season. That concludes our final edition of Teamwork. We had a great time this semester watching each of these teams and seeing how they truly work both on and off the field or the court.
We are now coming up on our final break of the day. When we come back, we're vaulting into the track and field season with a record setter.
We also have the weekend schedule of matchups. OwlSports Update returns in just 90 seconds.
Welcome back. Around this time last year, women's track and field did not have a pole vaulter on its roster. It's an event Temple was missing for a better part than a decade. This season, they have 4. This is thanks in part to Allie Riches, who's leading a revival at the pole vault in an Owls uniform.
Allie Riches transferred to Temple last winter and is already taking this dormant event to new heights. More than 13 feet high. The women's track and field team had not seen a pole vaulter on its roster for almost a decade. That was until Allie arrived just before last season, transferring after Rider University's cuts to its pole vaulting program.
I was just wanting to come here to have a good coach, good quality training, and to just push myself to go higher.
Assistant head coach Kevin Kelly used to be a pole vault coach at Penn State and saw Allie as a key piece in bringing the pole vault program back to Temple.
A little bit. And when she came in the transfer portal, I immediately reached out. I was really excited because I knew the caliber of athlete she was, and I knew she could be a linchpin to, attracting other pole vaulters.
Allie is a 5th-year student, and she's just 1 year removed from breaking Temple's indoor and outdoor record when she arrived on North Broad last season.
Last season, Allie had not set foot onto Temple's campus until a week before the season started. This year, she's gone through a full preseason of training, and the sky's the limit to what she can accomplish.
So, if I keep pushing and if I actually trust the process and trust my training, I feel like I can go much higher and I can get to second rounds. And then second rounds can open up the doors to being USA meet, maybe Olympics. And I know it's a long shot, but hey, a dream's a dream, and I'm still going to shoot for it.
Looking ahead, we have a few Temple events taking place on our weekend calendar. Women's basketball has games on Friday and Saturday, out west as mentioned. Men's basketball will play its last game in the Big 5 Classic on Saturday, and fencing will close out the weekend with the Sacred Heart duels in Connecticut on Sunday. We are finally at the end of this crew's last show of the semester.
We have to give a shout out to all of the team for all of the time and work they put in every single week to make it all happen for us. A very special thank you to our 2 incredible producers, Kylie Haberstro and Logan Matthews, as well as the man in charge, Matt Fine. # Trust the Fine.
Thanks for joining us this show. You'll see this duo next semester. Till next time.